Okay, we made it to the Sioux and we are going to find lunch. It's a cute little town. Really cute downtown, I would say. There's something related to the border crossing, I'm sure. Coffee, the future reference.
Is it too late?
No. Silly. Okay.
That little gate thing is.
Yeah. Looks Japanese.
Yeah.
See? It looks Japanese. The mole hole. Superior Cafe. Hotel Chiba. The old Maloney's Alley. All right, we'll see you in the Lux. Believe it or not, this hovering helicopter over the St. Mary's River is not even the most interesting thing. The most interesting thing is that this ship was turned into a museum, and that's where we're going. Inside this ship museum. How about that? Talk about cool. So it is a tad rainy today, so we've chosen to do the museum things today and then the Locks tour tomorrow. So you're just gonna have to hold your horses for that Locks tour video clip that I know you're looking forward to. And this is the world's largest maritime museum in a Great Lakes freighter. Look at that. It's supposed to be pretty good in there. 2 major exhibits on this Edmund Fitzgerald. So, we're going in. I've been seeing taconite, the word taconite all over, and I couldn't remember it. Or I didn't know what it was. And then I see, look at this third paragraph if you can read it. So interesting. I'm not going to stand it for very long, so if you want to read the whole thing, hit pause and enjoy over now. Oh wait, I should show some more before. It's okay, you can be in it, Gary. But we're in the ship, and the ship museum. It's so cool. We're very excited. It's very nice. Look at this. It's a Hewlett machine. And they unloaded warships. And they were used until 1992. And then they were all demolished in 2010. The Hewlett automatic ore unloader. Those are Hewlett unloaders. It's a good time. Is that the kind you had in Escanaba? Instead of the ore docks? Very cool, very cool. You probably can't get a sense of the size of this when you're standing up here, but it's really cool to see.
The whole?
Yeah, the size. Like what, yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of blown away right now. This is a really good museum. Oh, look at that big boat down there. That's gonna be cool to see. Did you see that big boat down there? Model. Good museum, good museum, good museum. Over now. Here we have an engine. You can't even tell how big this thing is. But then, oh, first of all, look at these tools. This is my hand. Yeah, so these are big. You can't really tell. Look at how, you can't, these are big. And then look at this. Don't you wish I had a wide angle lens? Yeah, baby. Steam meters, whatever. Pressure gauges, I don't know what those are. Anyway, we were just talking about how crazy it'd be to be an oiler, or the person that runs the engine, or engineer stuff. Path of the steam through the triple expansion steam room. And then there are these little tiny ones. Old toolbox. Lots of good stuff in here. Okay, here we are in the back of the ship. So that is where the rudder came down to the outside. And then look at this big, I guess it's a gear to turn that rudder. Isn't that wild? It feels really freaky being back here. Steering gear. Yeah. I don't know if you can kind of orient yourself, but that would go down outside into the water. Hoo-wee. No, thank you. It's pretty big in here. Steam-operated steering. This is a comparison model. This is the Valley Camp that we're on, and these are other Great Lakes ships compared to what we're on. Really incredible. This is a very fun, informative museum. Fish tanks over there. Those are fish tanks. This was made by a guy in Mount Prospect, Illinois, and then donated to this museum. Got a little bit of everything. A little bit of a lot of things. It's hydraulic cylinder. Yes. I like the bells that they pull up from the ships that are shipwrecked. I've seen a number of those on our trip. Knots. Ooh, are these lenses?
think they might be
Portholes. A hatch cover? Wow. It's curved. You can't tell, but it's curved. A chalk. Porthole lamp. From the SS Calumet. Materials that may be seen at an underwater shipwreck site. Please do not touch. So that's me. Spittoons. Huh. Cool. Door from the Vienna. We saw something about the Vienna at the Shipwreck Museum yesterday. Hold the phone. I was about to walk up here without turning the camera on. Silly me, because this is what I'm talking about. Look at this. Yes, it's cargo hold. If King Kong were put on this ship, this is where Kong would be. So if you hear a growl, it's the echo of Kong. Don't know what we're gonna find up here. Ooh. Yes. Yes. We're going to be on deck. It'll be cool to see where we are. It's cool to find out where we are and the orientation of the ship.
Yeah, we were.
Like we were all the way down there. Wow. Swab the deck, mates.
Some of these had passengers.
That's where they put Kong. Fisher. That's the bridge we're gonna cross later to go to the Canada side where we're staying. Why are we staying on the Canada side? Because it's cheaper than the American side. We're going upstairs.
Yeah, not bad, actually.
Steam whistle. You see the phone? Z, plural. I like the wood.
Yeah.
There's another phone. A lot of phones. Oh yeah, there's another one. Oh yeah. Thank you. Good morning. Oh, you probably want my ticket. Sorry. There we go. Thank you.
Before we get into our safety messages, we want to recognize the active and intelligent veterans, first responders, and their families who are with us today. Thank you for the sacrifices you've made and for all that you do for our communities and our country. Now, for your safety, please do not stand on the benches or chairs. Sit on the back of the benches or allow your children to do so. The benches are included with positive
Morning.
This is for cleaning purposes. Also, please do not sit on the railings of the upper deck or the windows of the lower deck.
Going up. It was closer. You probably can't tell, but there's an eagle up there. Little. Oh. Don't shoot that eagle.
Oh, cool.
Oh my God, really?
Is it illegal to shoot it here?
They're an endangered species.
Yeah, that's their illegal to shoot.
If you look up to the left, you can see that ball.
We believe we have a P&H crane. Yep. There. Can't see the logo anymore, but the one, let's see, this one.
Solid boom.
The solid boom.
MCM is home to a number of historical vessels. That
Yeah,
large
it is
yellow and
P&H
black
crane.
vessel to our left is the Paul Bunyan. She was built in 1945 for the United States Army Corps of Engineers as a gate lifter for the American locks. She could lift 300 tons in her prime.
It's a
She
good
was
looking hoist.
decommissioned in 2020 and replaced with a crane that you'll see as we approach the American locks. And that large steel object to our left with the letters MCM on its side is a floating dry dock, which lifts a vessel out of the water for hull inspection and repairs. This is where the Coast Guard will inspect the hulls of all commercial vessels every 5 years. And to do this, large valves are open in the hull of the dry dock, allowing water to flow in and sink it down. When a vessel is floated on board, the valves are closed, the water's pumped out, and the dry dock floats back up with the vessel inside. And currently in dry dock is the Drummond Islander 3. The white boat with the crane at the pier on our left is the Marine Supply Boat Ojibwe. She was built in 1945 and has been serving vessels of the Gary's ever since. The crane goes out to the freighters as they pass and ties up beside them while they're moving, supplying them with fresh groceries, clean laundry, and anything else they might need. She handles over 6,000 items and can save the crew a lot of time. There's been a vessel going out to supply the ships here since 1905.
That's the electrical plant right there. And then beyond the electrical plant is the boat that is the freighter that's turned into a museum that we toured yesterday. And then over here on the Canada side is the hotel we stayed at last night. There. So we will close it up until we get some more action.
Through ice up to 30 inches thick. And just below her pilot house window are ribbons proudly display the crew's achievements on ice breaking and rescue missions. Bypass the St. Mary's Rapids, which exists due to a 21-foot drop in elevation between Lake Superior and Lake Huron. Since 1855, ships have been using the locks at Sault Ste. Marie to safely navigate past the rapids. Now the locks are from left to right. They're numbered 1 and 2. Lock number 1, also known as the MacArthur Lock, which is the one that we'll be going into, opened in 1943 during World War II, and is named after General Douglas MacArthur. This lock is 800 feet long, 80 feet wide, and 31 feet deep at the Lake Huron level. And it takes about 10 million gallons of water to lift a vessel to the upper level. Lock number 2, the Poe, opened in 1969, and it's the largest of the locks. It's named for General Orlando M. Poe of the United States Army Corps of Engineers. The Poe is 1,200 feet long, 110 feet wide, and 32 feet deep at the Lake Huron level, and it requires a staggering 22 million gallons of water to raise a vessel to the upper level. Now, the Poe is the only lock large enough to handle the 1,000-foot-long super freighters, and there are 13 of these giants operating on the Great Lakes, all flying the American flag. Now, these massive ships can't travel beyond Lake Erie because they're too wide for the Welland Canal, and even passing through the Soo Locks is a tight fit. At 105 feet wide, they do just have 2.5 feet of clearance on each side of them in that lock. Now, today, 80% of the American fleet must use the Poe lock because their ships are too large for the MacArthur. In fact, 90% of all freight passing through the Soo Locks goes through the Poe.
Looks like we're hanging out here for a few minutes. Hey, love. Could you take this footage? Tell me when you can go. Thanks. Okay. Thanks. Here's your clip.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, but I mean, they should let you go through it.
Either way.
Yeah, either way. Yeah. So you
Right,
just
okay.
give them a call, say that you're there, that you need to go upbound or downbound, whichever way that you're at,
I get it.
and they'll let you know where you are in the.
And what if you want to swim?
Swam through the Panama Canal. Yeah, not allowed to do that. There are signs.
There are signs.
But there's a sign. I'm not doing it.
That doesn't mean anything to say.
Right.
Yeah. Look how big those things are. Those things on the side of the wall are pretty big too. Well, that's what he said. That's what she said. Let's see. Pick for the kids.
Yeah.
The kids. This reminds me when we were in the lock going between the
went up
Chicago River and Lake Michigan. And we were with when Naima was really clear or something. Pakistan, and I was with Brett and Mary Murphy. And that's when the mother duck was killing its duckling. And there are all these kids in the pool and they're screaming like, Mommy, Mommy! You know, and the parents were at first they thought they were playing. Like, yeah. And I was like, oh. And all of a sudden she's like trying to shit underwater and stuff, and all these kids are screaming. And then, we have the mother screams away, and this little duck's just like this. And then this some kind of bird just comes swoops out and grabs that little duck thing right out of the water, flies away, and then it turned around and came back and flew over all of us on the boat. And all these kids are like, we got a life lesson that day.
You do see the gates behind us closed there.
No, don't let the gates close on us. I guess we're going back.
from the top of those gates, 21 feet higher than the water level we're now on.
Oh, yeah.
To raise and lower the water in the locks, large tunnels in each lock are used. And the tunnels extend beyond the gates at both ends. There are valves at each end of the tunnels. To raise us from the Lake Huron level to the Lake Superior level, the valves beyond the gates ahead of us will be opened, and the higher water ahead of us will flow through the tunnels, under the lock walls, and up through large openings in the floor of the lock. When the water inside the lock reaches the level of the water on the other side of the gates ahead of us, the gates will be opened and we'll continue our tour.
You know what's amazing is when that barge or freighter came through last night. When we walked last night, it was in that one, yeah. It was at the public area. The new side was like 6 feet, the outside was 9, so it raised me like,
That'd be fun to see.
it was fun to watch.
Yeah.
They ran us out of the house.
Moving pretty fast.
On the site where the second American lock stands today, the state of Michigan constructed the first lock in 1855, and it was named the Harvey Lock in honor of Charles T. Harvey, who oversaw its construction. This lock marked a pivotal moment in Great Lakes navigation, enabling ships to bypass the 21-foot drop of the St. Mary's River Rapids. In 1881, the U.S. federal government assumed control of the Sioux locks, and in that same year, the Wetzel lock was completed. Named after Godfrey Wetzel, a Union general and engineer. It was the first federally operated lock and at the time the longest in the world at 515 feet. The Wetzel lock was located right here where the first American lock is today. And with the onset of World War II, the Wetzel lock was removed in 1942. And in just 15 months under blackout conditions, the MacArthur lock was constructed and opened in 1943. Named after General Douglas MacArthur, this lock was built rapidly to meet wartime demands. And during the war, 85% of the iron ore used to manufacture ships, tanks, and weapons passed through the Sioux locks. Meanwhile, in 1896, the original coal lock was completed under the supervision of Colonel Orlando M. Poe, replacing the Harvey lock. This lock remained in service until 1961. And in 1969, a new, larger coal lock was opened on the same site, retaining the historic name. 2 additional locks were added in the early 20th century. The Davis lock in 1914, named after Charles H. Davis of the Army Corps of Engineers. And the Sabin lock in 1919, named for Louis C. Sabin, a former Detroit district engineer. Both locks were among the longest in the world at 1,350 feet long and 80 feet wide. However, they were decommissioned in 2010 and are currently being replaced by a new lock the same size as the Poe. This new lock should be completed by 2030, and once completed, will be named by Congress. Now today, the Sioux locks remain vital to the U.S. economy, and modern freighters can carry over 70,000 tons of cargo in a single trip, making this engineering marvel a cornerstone of North American industry and trade.
Look how tall we are now. Yeah, we're going up fast, huh? Look at us.
The American locks are open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week from March 25th to January 15th. At the close of the navigation season, the locks are drained, inspected for damage, repaired, and left dry until spring. When the new navigation season begins, there can be up to 5 feet of ice on the St. Mary's River and large portions of Lake Superior. In many places on Lake Superior, ice can get over 20 feet thick. So the United States Coast Guard sends the icebreaker Mackinac and smaller icebreaking tugs like the Katmai Bay to break a path through the ice in Lake Superior so the ships can cross the lake. Vessels can use the Sioux locks without any charge, regardless of their size, cargo, or origin. Initially, the state of Michigan owned and operated the locks, imposing a fee of 5 cents per ton. However, when the U.S. government took over, it was agreed that the locks would operate toll-free.
There's the answer to your question.
Now, you can learn more about the Sioux Locks inside the Visitor Center at the Sioux Locks Park, located to our left, just behind that viewing station. There are various displays inside the center, and a help desk inside the center posts the estimated arrival times of incoming ships to the Sioux Locks. Now, all those flags that you see on the lock wall to our right, they represent the Great Lakes shipping companies that use the locks.
It's a cool vehicle.
Same one we saw in the park yesterday.
Hilarious. Look at the snow. Sorry. What's that? Oh, sorry.
It's because of the ropes.
Right, so that makes sense. Oopsie. It's a no go. No, don't stand there.
It varies quite a bit. I looked to see who was in line for the next traders that come through. So,
But we were watching the Indiana Harbor Tide last night.
Yeah.
It was amazing because I'm like, is that even going to make it?
yeah, they come through at all different times. There's times where I'm up at like 2 o'clock to hear the horn.
Dead fish. Oopsie.
Those are like the main
Breakfast. The fish came alive again.
I was like, okay.
I think it's in the process of dying.
I think you're right.
It wasn't belly up. Surprised the bald eagle we saw didn't come get it.
I have a question. How long does it take to say go?
It's a double show here. You got a seagull bringing a fish back to life. Not really. I know. The gate's opening. Hey, Gary. Hey, Gary. The gate's opening.
That's gotta be a lot of pressure.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Right?
Then they got to stop and sleep in some I mean, they must stop at ports along the way.
See there, the fish is dead again. It came back to life. It's not dead.
Pull it out? Or
It just pecked at it and then it swam away.
We have some friends in Maryland who are talking about coming in.
This is the ongoing fish seagull saga over here. You can see
I
both.
was like, I don't take forever, but maybe just a couple of weeks. Right. So if you do it leisurely, you can still do it in like, I mean, I was thinking it would take months. Right. How fast your boat is. Yeah. No, that's it. I'm really just imagining much
It's gone now. Blood? Yeah. Ew, gross.
Just make it a second one in case something goes wrong.
The bird one?
That's nature in action.
This one was full last night.
Yeah, it
I sent this photo to Gabby, and she said, "Deja vu, it was the annoying guy Gary at the trip." And then she said, "Please say hi to Gary and Jen."
Oh, that's nice. Say
It
hi
looks
to her,
exactly like
please.
this
Tell
picture.
her, tell her, wish you were here. She can come up if she wants.
Well, then maybe they will.
Please. I love it.
It sounds like they were going to extend there, but it sounds like now they're not.
Where?
Panama. But it's really, it sounds like they're ready to go.
Are they?
I could see her extending because she has that deep path position.
Yeah.
But they're worried about the kids' high school kid. Kid who finished high school in the U.S. I don't know.
Well, I would come back to the U.S. now. Who knows?
Yeah, their state of another.
Now, at the upper end of each of the American locks, you can see the large gray emergency dam sections. Now, if the gates of the locks ever fail, a crane will lower the emergency dam sections into slots in the lock wall to shut off the flow of water. Now, there are 7 sections weighing approximately 90,000 pounds each. The ones we just passed, those are for the MacArthur lock. And the ones here at the end of the pier, those are for the flow.
Okay, we made it. Now we're going to go under the bridge that takes us back and forth between Canada and the U.S.
Now ahead of us is the International Highway Bridge, which opened to traffic in 1962, replacing the ferry service that operated below the locks. I'll point out those ferry landings when we return to the lower river. Now this bridge is the only international crossing between Port Huron, Michigan and Sarnia, Ontario, 350 miles to the south, and the Ontario-Minnesota border, 580 miles to the west. It took 2 years to build and it's almost 3 miles long. Clearance from the bottom of the bridge to the surface of the water is about 137 feet. Just past the highway bridge are sections of the Canadian National Railway Bridge, which was originally operated by Sault Line Railroad. The lift bridge, built in 19 steeper than the stairs you have at home.
If they haven't seen a steel mill. Look at how small those trucks look next to that mound, but they're really big trucks.
Yeah.
This place is huge. Huge.
We are now approaching the Still Works of Algoma Steel Incorporated. This plant was established over 100 years ago by Francis Clare, and it's Canada's second largest steel plant and employs approximately 3,000 people. Algoma produces almost 3 million tons of steel each year, and about 80% of the steel produced here is hot rolled and cold rolled steel used by the appliance and automotive industries. The large coils of steel are produced in the state-of-the-art production complex, where molten iron is converted into rolled steel coils in roughly about 30 minutes. Algoma also produces a wide variety of plate and structural steel, making it to more than 700 different specifications. The manufacture of steel begins with 3 main ingredients, most of which can be seen from our tour boat. These materials are coal, limestone, and taconite iron ore pellets. That brownish colored material directly in front of us, that is the taconite iron ore pellets. The lighter colored material to our left, that is the crushed limestone. And now there is a fourth ingredient piled next to the crushed limestone, and that is coke. Coke comes from cooking coal at extremely high temperatures for a day to drive out all the gases and tar. They do make coke here at the steel plant, but they will also bring in coke by self-unloading freighters.
They call it coke.
It's like futuristic. Tiny and futuristic.
The tall steel tower that's directly in front of us that's pumping out all that white smoke, that is Canada's largest includes incoming cargoes of coal, coke, taconite, and limestone, and outgoing cargoes of coal tars and finished steel.
If he's really good, he can put toy in there.
Yeah, exactly. Sun Coke.
Now, the coils of steel that you see on the dock are rolls of finished steel. The coils weigh from 40,000 to 60,000 pounds each. Now, due to highway regulations, a semi-tractor trailer could take one or two of these coils in a single load. So the most economical way to transport these coils is by barge. A tug and barge can transport 300 to 350 of these coils in a single trip. And most of the rolled steel product is delivered to ports in Detroit, Michigan, Windsor, Ontario, and Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Transporting freight by water is cheap. The president of the Lake Pier Association has said that for the cost of a fast food meal, you can ship a ton of freight on the Great Lakes.
There's the lock. Straight on. Pretty nice. Yeah, it's a good view. That little asshole.
That sun feels good.
Sure does. Stating the obvious sure feels good. That's why we all do it. Feels good.
Feels good. Makes us feel smart.
Right?
State the obvious.
I love stating the obvious. If there's one thing I love doing.
You know, they look so much smaller from the outside.
I'm telling ya.
Once you get in there,
It's huge. I mean, look at that boat, you know. And if we were to see a guy walking around,
right.
it'd be tiny. I mean, that tour really put it in perspective. And the size of that steel plant, man. It's just incredible. That place is really, I want to make a model of it or something, you know what I mean? Like a little model of that. Of that. It's so, like,
So many
secretive.
pieces to it.
I know, yeah.
So much pipe.
I know.
Stack.
I want to go through all of it. Like, by where each stack is, each little exhaust stack. This little nature area. Is that the Sioux? What used to be the Sioux? Or is that the Sioux? Oh, that's the Sioux part over there. The rapids. Oh, there's a dam over there, it says. Doesn't sound right, Carolyn.
Pressure coming out that
What?
way. The white
Doesn't sound right.
pressure.
Now, if you look up to the right on the International Highway Bridge, there are two flags flying at the lowest point on the bridge, and this marks the boundary between the United States and Canada. There is that semi coming from the Canadian side heading towards the U.S., and I'll let you know as soon as they're passing that border.
Okay.
And the semi is passing the border right there. Canadian log was 900 feet long and 60 feet wide. But in July of 1987, a 200-foot section of the lock wall broke loose and shifted 4 inches. The lock was then closed for 11 years. In 1997, the city of Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario worked with the Canadian government to have the lock rebuilt. They built the new lock within the existing walls of the old historic lock, and on July 14, 1998, the new Canadian lock was opened. It is now just 228 feet long and 49 feet wide. The lock is operated by the City Parks Department and is used by tugboats, tour boats, and pleasure craft, including sailboats, canoes, kayaks, and jet skis. The Canadian lock process uses 1.5 million gallons of water, as opposed to the 10 million gallons in the MacArthur lock and the 22 million gallons in the Pole lock on the American side. The Canadian lock is open 7 days a week from mid-May to mid-October.
It's my lock you're talking about.
So currently we are just waiting for them to turn back the lock towards us. They're filling the lock back up so that we're able to get in there. Canadian National Railroad Bridge. It connects to the lift bridge and the Bascal bridges on the American side. The bridge swings across the canal and connects with the tracks on the right to allow freight trains to cross, and it is still used about twice a day. Painted steel structure we're approaching to our left is the original emergency swing dam for this canal. It is the only remaining dam of its kind in the world. In an emergency, the dam is to uncross the canal and the gates underneath lowered to the bottom to restrict the flow of water. This dam was used once on June 9, 1909 when an accident occurred at Canadian Lock. And here's what happened. The Canadian passenger boat Assiniboia was tied up on the upper Lake Superior level inside the Canadian lock. The American freighter Crescent City was entering the lock behind her. In another American freighter, the Perry G. Walker was approaching the pier leading up to the Canadian lock from the lower Lake Huron level. The Perry G. Walker was supposed to land at the pier and wait her turn to lock up bound through the lock, but there was a mix-up in communications between the captain of the Walker and the engine room. When the captain called for full steam astern, that chief engineer put the ship in full steam ahead, crashing through those lower gates. When the lower gates were broken open, there was a violent rush of water, and the Assiniboia and Crescent City ricocheted out of the lock at an estimated speed of 40 miles per hour.
Whoa.
Now, there was no loss of life, but the ships were pretty mangled after the incident.
Nice little park over here too, huh?
Pretty nice.
Cute house.
The building on the left was the former home of the superintendent of the Canadian lock. Nobody lives there today, but it is used for receptions, meetings, and wedding photos. As we come up here to the end of the old lock, here, those two buildings on either side. In the windows, there are going to be some historic photos of the original lock in use and that emergency swing dam in use. Also recessed into the wall on either side of the boat are the red wooden gates of the original Canadian lock. They're no longer used, but they will give you an idea of how much larger the original lock was compared to the new smaller lock that's ahead of us. We are now approaching the new Canadian lock, and our captain asks that all passengers who are standing to please be seated. We'll make an announcement when it's safe to move around. We also ask that once cleared to move around, to please stay clear of the yellow painted areas on the upper deck right-hand side of the boat around our mooring lines.
Where's the original?
Up there, right?
She said it was bent.
I think it was back there,
Oh.
right before that house.
But wouldn't it be the lock itself that would be?
No, it's wider than the
And
lock.
longer, probably. I don't know.
This is put in this bucket on that side.
Just we come back.
We come back and we just go this way.
Well,
Just go this way.
the groundwater runs right in the middle.
Oh, pretty house.
So is that the old lock down there? And that's it's wider
I think it was way back there.
back there.
Back where that.
Yeah. I'm gonna go back and look at that.
Valve on.
Slingshot it out at 40 miles per hour is what I heard.
rubber-coated cables on the left-hand lock wall. They are used secure pleasure packed. They merely wrap a line around that cable to ride up and down in this lock. Now ahead of us, you can look out onto the lower St. Mary's River, and the water level is 21 feet or 6.4 meters lower than the water level we're now on. And this lock works just like the American locks. There are large tunnels under the lock and the water in and out all by gravity. On the right, directly in front of us, is the machinery that opens the valves at the end of the tunnels and lets the water out. Now there will be a total of 1.5 million gallons of water that will be let out of this lock to lower us to Lake Huron level. Now the building just to the left of us, in line with our stern with the Canadian flag on top, that is the administration building for the lock, and it was built of sandstone and limestone and was designed by J.B. Smiths. The next structure on our left, kind of just slightly in front of us, is the observation tower. And the last building over on our left, all the way ahead of us, is the powerhouse. Now this was the first electrically operated lock in the world, and the powerhouse contains the equipment that produced the electricity for the canal operations. This equipment is still largely intact, and the building also holds the original dewatering pumps, which are still used to completely empty the lock. On the lock floor, tunnels, equipment, and so on are being worked on. Now visitors can sometimes tour the building and see the gigantic machinery, which is over 100 years old. The Canadian lock was designated as a National Historic Site in Canada in 1987, largely because of the powerhouse and its equipment. The lock is also recognized for its significant history and unique diversity. And since the Canadian lock is overly spectacular, there is less security on the side of the river, and people get to the hiking trails by walking over the gates of the lock when they're closed. Now this entire area is a park area. Canal Park is on our left, and the land to our right contains the Atacamac Trail, a hiking trail that takes you through St. Mary's Island and Whitefish Island to the rushing waters of the St. Mary's Rapids. This area was once an established native settlement dating back more than 2,000 years, and before the construction of the locks, it was a prime fishing area for whitefish and other native species. This was up until 1902, when it was set to be used for the establishment of the railroad. In 1982, a claim was made for the land to be returned to the Pachawana First Nation, and after many years of negotiations, the land was returned to the tribe in 1997.
Yeah, it really is. Both sides. That one too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I just saw a guy go across with his dog, but I was thinking, Christy wouldn't do it. She wouldn't do it.
Ah.
She won't go over the grates and the sidewalk.
Oh.
She's superstitious.
But pretty quickly.
Yeah, now we're cooking. So, what would be the carabiner hooks?
I think these
Okay.
cable, they're
Oh.
coated cables.
Oh,
So you hook onto it and it's
okay.
That was about 8-10 minutes. This is roughly about like 10
That's what she was sent back for the kayaks.
yeah, said they have to constantly adjust the tying back in the ropes. I would think so for safety, but who knows?
This is Canada.
A little more relaxed.
More chill. This smells make me sick.
It's my upper lip again.
That dirty Sanchez is making me sick.
Yeah, it's time to get out of here. Open the gate.
On the double. Dad, I'm turning it off now because it's. I can't hold the camera. It's like.
Okay, we are now on the lower Lake Huron level. The lower gates are opening ahead of us. As soon as those gates are open, the boat in front of us will sound a short blast to cast off their last mooring line, and then we will be sounding a short blast to signal to cast off our last mooring line. We do ask those passengers standing around the mooring lines next to the lock wall to step back behind the yellow lines. And those passengers on the lower deck, please step back from any open windows until we're underway.
This little dude is going out. The next freighter doesn't come through for hours, unfortunately, so we're not going to be able to get that. Oh, okay. So?
They explained it. Boom out of the cable.
There it goes.